let's give you the story so far. So you had done your first heist in the sabotaging a ghost machine,
That was
basically.
smashing success.
Then you pulled
Yes.
together your ill-gotten gains, wandered about the town, had some free play time, and tracked down a sort of a patron, sort of a middleman, who offered you an option of a couple different jobs because you'd rolled pretty well, and you picked one involving a big party, a big fancy party, and stealing something. So we'll pick up today meeting with this patron at a tavern, a rundown tavern called the False Prophet on Oracle Road in the shadow of the Crumble Tower in the Six Towers district. But
welcome back, Doskvol.
Yeah. But first, since it's been a while, I was hoping we could have everybody reintroduce their characters. And as I mentioned, hopefully provide one bit of information from your background or nationality or something to tell us a little bit more about your character and possibly give insight into how you can gain some extra experience points along the way. And if it's okay, I'll just go down the line of how I see you on the screen, or up the line, actually, and start with Colum and William Two Teeth.
Okay. Well, this is William Two Teeth, also known as the Coleridge Badger. He's about 4'11". Basically, has the appearance of a small, slight, perpetually sooty Dickensian street urchin, but he is a grown man. He is from the Coleridge district and from a long, long line of miners. And his expertise as a leech is as a saboteur, which he honed doing explosions at the mine. And I was supposed to come up with a little tale to give you an insight into his character. So I guess I shall do it that. And everyone's heard of the old Horley mine that branches off the Coleridge mine, the most notoriously dangerous shaft in Coleridge. And we were always working the Horley mine for a long time. And as you can imagine, the conditions were pretty bad. And I lost many a pal and family member there through no fault of their own. But the Horley family were famous tightwads. So a girl by the name of Belle Brogan started whispers of a union. And those whispers started to lead to actions. And the Horleys weren't having any of that. So the rumor was that they were going to bring up outside union busters from Imperial City to come on in, start breaking heads, and put down any talk of a union. So I started watching the Horleys. And one night they all headed down to a building in Hollis Place in Hargate. Lots of mean-looking strangers filed in there with them. Anyway, you all might have heard of the terrible Harris Place tenement collapse. Such a tragedy. Wiped out the entire male line of the Horley family. And no one could explain why the building would collapse like that. It's just a mystery. And the Horley mine, well, the powers that be rightly shut it down and relocated all of us into better shafts in the Coleridge mine.
All right. And it's okay if everybody doesn't have a fully formed short story.
Well, now I
That's
kind
great.
of want it.
Okay, I'm just going up, and I guess this is in reverse alphabetical order by character, I realize. So that takes us to Jenny and Silver.
You're gonna make me follow that?
Yeah, so I did.
Okay, great. So I am Cyrene Dava is my original name, and I go by Silver, which ever since I arrived here in Doskvol, which was some years ago. I am from Iruvia, which is a desert land, and from a noble family there. However, it is a noble family that fell on rather hard times and decided to recoup their losses by arranged marriage. And so I am the eldest daughter, so I was going to be first in line for that. And they decided they were going to. They chose me a groom, and the groom was Lord Spurlock. And I'd seen pictures and heard the tales, and I wanted nothing to do with the Lord Spurlock. He's very old, and he's possibly actually inhuman. And I was not really interested in being, the bride of the underworld. So I snuck away in the middle of the night and completely disguised myself in poor clothes. I was not able to bring all of my finery that I was used to. So I left behind the dancing lessons and the fencing lessons and the language lessons and the deportment classes and the etiquette classes, and made my way to, under dead of night, to Doskvol. There I managed to find a barber who dyed my hair to silver, and I stole someone's purse in one of the districts and bought myself sort of loose flowing robes and a mask, and kind of became a master of disguise from there. I am a slide who has learned mesmerism along the way, so I'm pretty good at swaying people. And I still have all of my, classes and manners and noble ways, so I was easily able to sort of work my way up in society. I would rather not talk about where I started, though, and how I obtained the money to do so.
Awesome. And then we've got our parsnip farmer, which is actually Damon and Rip Slag Cheek.
Rip Slag Cheek. He's not much for talk. He hails from Tycheros, distant, mysterious land, ancient mysteries, populated by spirits, who knows. What you know about Rip is that he prefers not to talk much about where he came from, but that he's very keen to know how one's life might be extended. And when he talks to spirits, he likes visiting. Anytime you've come across some bodies, he takes at least some interest in them. He hangs around the morgue. He likes investigating any death that happens to have not been just, basic throat slit. If it was done in any particular way that seems kind of unnatural, he is there and wants to know more about it. I keep saying he, but the looks are ambiguous, honestly, under a thick greatcoat. I remember when I first started playing this character, I was using they, and I meant to continue. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say about Rip. They don't say much more about themselves.
Excellent. And then there is Helena Gunn Vale. Brent.
So, if we're swapping stories, might as well tell you guys about my last day at the Bluecoats. So, William, what'd you say that girl's name was again? What was that? One that was agitating folks, wanting to get them up into unionizing.
Oh, for God's sake, I've deleted it now.
I remember it was Belle Barton.
Nice.
No, Belle Brogan.
Belle
Belle
Brogan.
Brogan.
Yes,
right. I was close.
She's in the book.
I was close.
Oh, she's in the book? She's a real character. So I can't
yeah.
do what I'm about to do. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Oh, go for it. The book isn't
we don't
canon
care.
in our world.
Okay. Well, I was there that night that she got shot. In fact, I was one of the guys holding the gun. Something the way that whole thing went down didn't sit right with me. And when I started pulling threads about it, that's when I started to realize that I'm just the same as everyone else. So, didn't want to keep working for them. I hopped into a bottle, and now I'm here.
So you shot Belle Brogan?
Might have been me.
He was among them as did, it sounds like. Okay, Cam and Seymour.
Yeah, you'll recall Seymour is a kind of long, lanky, severe-looking fellow, the spider of the party, and a story about how he came to Doskvol. At the time, I was working for a landlord, and he was the meanest bastard that you'd ever seen. And to lose a single penny would grieve him awful sore. He was a miserable bollocks and a bitch's bastard's whore. Well, I recall we took care of him one Sunday. We drug him out the back and we broke his fucking balls. Maybe I was dreaming. Maybe it was real. All I know is I left that place without a penny or a fuck all. And that's what I'll tell you about Seymour coming to Doskvol.
Oh, dear God.
I couldn't help myself.
That's the way they became the Brady Bunch.
Just as well no one listens to this.
Right? I couldn't help myself.
That was a reference, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah,
I made another reference. I had another one in the last session.
I don't know the reference.
Why I'm always hanging out on the porch.
I
He's
assume it's
always
from
he's always
Major
making
League.
Pogue. No, he's always making Pogue's song reference.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the reason
You know what
is.
though? That you know what? No,
It's
I
specifically
buy that
Boys
for
from County
Doskvol.
Hell.
Yes, it is.
I haven't referenced any other songs.
Okay.
We also forgot to mention that Silver got a boyfriend during our last
what was his name?
excursion.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Gregor.
Grigor.
Yeah, Gregor.
Gregor,
He is
yes.
now your gang, actually a pretty good gang of thug to have should the need arise.
And remember, I last time scrounged up a getaway driver who
All right.
is at least competent to show up.
Yes,
Yes. And we did downtime last time, didn't we?
we did. Correct. Downtime and
Okay,
a little
and-
free play is how you found this job.
Yeah, and I believe I have a line thrower written on my character sheet now.
Yeah, that was
That's
you had
right.
done a
You built a
tinkering
host shop.
project. Yeah, you did a
That I-
tinkering project to
I
make
did a
that.
tinkering project, yeah.
I think
Didn't we? I'm gonna mix up my games here by saying this.
No, please.
No, never mind. I was gonna say, didn't we find somebody to fix the blimp? But that was another one.
No, but
that was a good one.
we do have a set of zombie legs.
No, we don't. Absolutely do not.
You keep confusing which game we're in.
Yet.
Yeah,
I know.
Yet.
There's been so many.
Okay,
All right.
help me put this together. I do remember that Helena went with someone to the tobacconist to meet up with.
That was me and
Um,
Seymour.
Okay, yeah. So I think the three of us went to the tobacconist, right?
Yep. And you
Yeah.
met with the Gray Cloaks,
That's
Mhm.
who
right.
are the guys who were kicked out of the Bluecoats for being too corrupt. And it's not clear whether they were really too corrupt or maybe they were the good guys. But anyway, you helped to avert some turf trouble with them because they are looking to expand
That's
their
right.
operations in Six Towers.
What did
You
we
met
call
with
them?
their leader, whose name isn't right in front of me, and basically made nice. You're not best of friends, but you're not
Like
headed
we're
for a
live and
collision.
let live right now.
Exactly.
Stay out of each
Exactly.
other's business and
Didn't Seymour make some kind of pact with him
yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
To
used
not harm
my
each other. Yeah.
yeah.
to do what?
Oh.
I mean, what were we supposed to do for them?
We're supposed to stay out of their business, they'll stay out of ours,
Oh,
and
okay,
if we
got it,
pass a
got it.
little information back and forth now and
Exactly.
again,
Great,
that
thank you.
would be copacetic.
Yeah, I went with the good fences route, right?
Yeah, and they're particularly interested in information about a case that got them kicked out, and they say falsely framed for corruption. But that's not something we'll probably pursue too much today, I don't think. All right, so that is how we became the Sun Chasers. There almost needs to be a prequel story to see how the five of you met, but maybe I'm really curious now.
Well,
But
now
that's
that
way
we
down
all
the
have
road.
backstories that
Yeah.
have brought us at least to Doskvol, it
Yeah.
seems. We can fill that in next time. Yeah.
We were just assembled by a producer, monkey
Uh-huh.
style.
Yeah, actually, Jenny had asked on the chat, like, is this while passing a bottle, swapping tales? I'm kind of thinking it more as like occasional flashbacks where we see your
Okay.
backstory a little bit at a time.
Cool.
Like a little interstitial chapter or something in the book, or a cutscene in a movie or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily all done in like the first in the opening shots or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us head to the false prophet now. The shadow of the crumble tower. To the extent that there's light in the sky, it's a lighter day in the mist for Doskvol purposes. And you are meeting with Van Dorn again in this crumbling bar, smoke rising from tables with people smoking various substances, and there's
Hell yeah.
some candlelight. Some ghost energy powered lamps as well, and as always, Van Dorn has just a full pint of some kind of severe spirit that you're not sure how a living being can consume as much and rapidly as he does without showing any effect of it. And you've gathered around now to get more details from him about this heist.
You said that there were substances being smoked in a corner somewhere.
Oh, not in a corner, like openly at all the tables. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah!
there's nothing like super illegal. There's a lot of gray zone stuff here, basically.
So it's a real hipster place. Okay.
Yeah. Clove
Yeah.
cigarettes. That's all.
Oh.
Just clove cigarettes.
I miss glow cigarettes.
You can get them.
Yeah, so Van Dorn is sitting at a table and
Yeah.
approachable, or
Oh yeah, no. So we're opening the
I'm
scene
sorry.
with you gathered around the table with them drinking, if you like, whatever
Mhm.
you've might have ordered. Mead, I assume, just in tribute to our old meeting place.
Yep.
And so he says, "Well, I'm glad you've agreed to do." Wait, that's not his voice. I'm glad you've
It is.
agreed to do the job at the Bowmore party. I can give you some more detail now from the patron now that you've accepted it. And he explains, this is on behalf of a respectable citizen. So he very much wants the job to not be traced to him. That's why he's working through me as a middleman. And one condition of payment is that you not be followed to the handoff of the item that you're obtaining for him.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, okay. Jeez, I'm
And-
amazed I remember this.
And I will point out that because he's a respectable citizen, I've had him pay in advance. We have an escrow for your cut and my finder's fee as well, already waiting. Sometimes the respectable citizens forget the rules halfway through. So the money is in hand, ready to be given to you when you do the job. So you don't have to worry about him cutting and running at the last moment.
I mean, friend,
We
you can
don't.
tell
You
us that.
you said
but-
it's in escrow.
Exactly. So I'll be able to pay you once you have handed off the item. So he goes on to explain the item in question is an ancient ledger, Lady Bowmore's ledger. It is, I don't really care what it is. It's something that apparently historically the Bowmores, well, you know Bowmore Bridge, right? And you do. It's the most famous bridge, not just in Doskvol, but like the entire world. It's the bridge that connects the bulk of Doskvol to the really fancy part. It's this huge metal looming bridge, kind of a wonder of the world sort of thing.
Oh, that Bowmore.
Yeah. They built this thing. My patron, or your patron, wants her ledger that she used while she kept it. Why? I don't know. That's a thing you do when you're rich. Well, he has an opportunity, he says, to obtain this at a birthday party. It's a birthday party for the bridge. That's something else you do when you're incredibly rich. House Bowmore is having a celebration of the 300-somethingth anniversary of the Bowmore Bridge's completion. They're having a large festival outside and a more exclusive party inside their celebration hall that overlooks the bridge up in Brightstone District, not at their house, at their mansion in Six Towers, here in Six Towers. You, however you see fit, would go in, get this ledger, which will be on display with apparently other exciting historical artifacts, and you get a bit of an eye roll. People in Doskvol, historical curiosities without a practical value, most people wouldn't be that interested in. You find this thing. I have a handoff site for a servant of Mr. or Mrs. Unknown. You hand it off. Once I get the word that you've handed it off, I give the money to you, and all is well.
Where's the handoff site?
And he pulls out a map.
Bowmore Hall. So where this is the festival hall, is this celebration hall is Bowmore Hall,
Exactly, and that's right. You can see it's right next to Bowmore Bridge there.
overlooking the bridge.
Mhm.
Okay. And the
And
handoff site is where?
I didn't mark it on here, but it is in the silver market, indicated by the number 2 on the map. Sales will be shut down that day, and there's a stand where a servant, apparently, of the respectable citizen will be waiting, and he narrows down the location for you there.
So when is the servant going to be there?
He'll be waiting there through the day of the festival. So the festival begins at 10 in the morning. I think they actually have a different time system in Doskvol. I don't have it in front of me. And it runs well into the evening. The fancier, the outside celebration starts at 10. I believe luncheon inside starts at noon. And my understanding is they'll be giving tours of the historical artifacts throughout then for the fancier customers. I can offer you, you'll have to do most of your own legwork on this. I can offer you 2 pieces of information to prepare you. One, if your plan involves getting invitations to the more exclusive event, it happens that I can do that. The printing of the invitations and of the guest list happens to be done by a printer with an employee with a gambling problem. So I can obtain up to 5 invitations if you want, though I think you might be careful about who would stand out at a party like this, if that's your plan at all.
Well,
Everyone
having
kind of
5
friendly looks
invitations in
over
our
at Reed.
back pocket, even if we don't use them.
I can obtain those for you in whatever names you require. And the second piece of information I have is that they had an exterminator out there about a week ago. So whatever else you may encounter in there, rats will not be among them.
That's good.
Oh, thank God for that. 'Cause
Unless we bring them ourselves.
Yeah, let's not
Side
do
reference to every other game we're playing right now.
Yeah.
Right?
that. Right. Yes. Yeah, Silver
Sort of-
is not down with the rats. Just like every other character I played.
And he's able to give you a description of the ledger. It's a fairly large book. It's probably labeled something like ledger, and it'll be like, if it's on display as he expects it to be, it will be labeled somehow amongst the displays as to what it is.
Okay.
I don't have much information beyond that. If you have questions, I can try to answer them. Otherwise, you can. You've got the event is the day after tomorrow, so you've got a day to case the place and make whatever preparations you want.
After we case, can we get in touch with you if we need to?
Yes, either I will be here, or you can leave word with the bartender here to arrange a time to meet. If nothing else, I will definitely be here most of the evening tomorrow night.
Okay. Thank you. I've got ideas.
All right. Anything else for Van Dorn?
Yeah, so after we make the handoff, do we come right here, or is there a certain amount of time you'd prefer us to wait?
Probably come the next morning. I'll need to get word from the employer to make sure he has the item in hand and is satisfied that he wasn't followed. And then, yes, meet here, and we will quietly hand off your earnings.
Oh, and I apologize. Most important of all, how do I identify the gentleman that we're handing off to?
And he gives you a description and says, yes, the gentleman will be wearing and he kind of like grimaces, a black hat with a red flower on it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I'm sorry, amateurs. I tried to give him something else.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm going to meet him and I'm going to slap his ass. He'll get his package, but I'm going to slap his ass for his trouble.
Again, that's not the employer. That's some servant of his.
But
Okay.
okay.
well, I'm sure it wasn't his idea.
I don't really care.
It wasn't mine, I'll tell you that.
Well, Willie's ready to go case out this
Okay.
Bowmore Hall.
All right, so we'll leave Van Dorn behind and we'll go into free time now of sorts. So basically, everybody can do one gather information type activity. So think about what you want to do and then explain it. There'll be probably a die roll using one of your abilities. Depending on how passive it is. If it's just you're going to wander around and look in from the outside, you'll make a roll. The better you do, the more information you get. If it's something riskier, there might be a consequence of failure as with a normal action roll.
What are we rolling in this game again?
So it's 6-sided dice.
Okay.
And you'll look at your attribute, a tune or command or whatever, see how many dice you roll.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's either
And in fact, whoever makes the first roll will kind of do it real careful and go through each step just to remind people how to do it.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to go. Willie wants to go. I've got 2 in survey, and Willie wants to go check out Bowmore Hall, check out its proximity to the bridge, and basically look for access points to it.
Okay. So you're going to
Preferably
roll
behind it or under it, because I don't think he's getting any invitations.
Okay. So you had picked survey. That makes sense. You're surveying the situation. So you look at how many dots you have.
I have 2.
Okay. We're not really going to set position and effect level for a gather information roll. So just the better you roll, the better you do. And probably you don't want to use stress at this point to add bonus dice, though you have that option. So when we're in actual action, you always have the option of spending or taking 2 stress to give yourself an extra die.
Mhm.
And when you're working together, you have the option of taking a stress to give someone else an extra die on their roll. But that's more when we're actually in the midst of action that you do something like that.
And we should all be sitting with varying amounts of stress right now, right?
Yes, some of you cleared up
Correct.
some stress last time. I was going to say
Oh, yeah.
last week, last year, whenever that was.
Okay, I still have one. I still have one stress. Okay.
And just as a reminder, so you're going to roll however many 6-sided dice. You don't add them together, though I think the computer will if you do that. You look at the highest number. So 1 to 3 is bad. In this case, the least information. 4 or 5 in game terms, partial success. 6, full success. Multiple 6s is a critical success.
Okay, so I'm
All right.
rolling. I'm rolling 2d6s for Willie's survey. Should I go ahead and do this?
Go for it. Yeah.
I have a 5.
Real dice, huh? I wish I could believe you. Take a picture.
I have a 5.
I believe you. Okay, so
Say,
you were
taking a
going.
picture doesn't. We'd have to live stream the die roll.
I'm rolling my over the edge dice from Atlas Games.
Wow.
They're fantastic.
So you were looking at the layout of the place. Okay. So it's, walking around here isn't that suspicious. People walk around the rivers and the canals. And this is a nicer part of town. And there's a lot more Bluecoats around here than in some other areas. So even though you're not actually doing anything bad right now, you feel out of place and under suspicion. But you kind of make the rounds of the place. And you see that on the east side of the building, closest to the bridge, is clearly what's intended to be the grand entrance. And already they're setting up for the festival. And you see there's kind of multiple tiers. So there's like grounds on that big street there extending out to the bridge where it looks like riffraff can go. Then there's an outside party that kind of wraps around part of the building. And then beyond that, there's the main entrance. That's going to lead you into the building. And it looks like they're setting up as that's where the VIPs are going to come in. However, wandering around to the riverside, and in fact situated to load stuff off of the river, is a servant's entrance. And you see that's where they seem to be bringing in cookware at this point. They're not necessarily bringing in the food yet, but you see them loading in some kind of fountain. And it's a big entrance, and this appears to be where the staff and servants are going to come in and out of. For a 5, it's a 2-story building. Unlike last time, there's not like a convenient big building leaning up next to it for easy access to an upper story window. Coming in through the roof, you think it'd be pretty tough to do without being spotted. You'd need to come up with some way to be sneaky about it. There are other windows around the place. Some of them seem to be pretty well sealed up for areas that are disused. It looks like it was 2 separate buildings originally. That thing that comes across, if you're looking at it from north to south, kind of, that's a 2nd story. And there's a courtyard that goes underneath it. Yeah, with a 5, I think that's about as much as I give you for now. Who wants to go next with some gather information?
Oh, I sure do. In fact, while William was heading off to look at the place, Helena just reaches down and hooks her arm in his and says, "Let's just go take a gander at the place together. Why don't we?" So specifically, what Helena is going to be kind of keeping an eye out for is escape routes. I just want to know, while walking through the market and over to Bowmore Hall, what are some very quiet ways of getting about? And I think what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is just say that Helena is coming up with an escape plan. I don't want to give you details until I just spring it. Is it cool with you if I do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, and in game terms, the way this game works wouldn't so much be you're going to come up with an exact map with this point. You're going to have a plan in mind that's going to be your escape plan. I like that. And what action rating do you think you would use?
So I think this, I would argue that this is a prowl move because I'm thinking about things in terms of traversing skillfully and quietly.
You're pre-prowling. I think that is accurate. Okay. How many dice do you get on that?
I get 2 dice.
Okay. So roll 2d6. Right?
I'm also going to use real dice.
Uh-huh.
So I rolled
a
like
2.
The sound? and a 4. And I like that 4, so I keep the 4, right?
Right. You always get the higher one. Okay. I'm going to say we don't need to chart it out exactly. That gives you a sense that it's a risk. Like the best you can do. You're picturing the scene here. There's going to be a lot of people around, which can help you or hurt you, and there's probably going to be cops around, given that it's Brightstone, which is going to hurt. But you think that given a lot of crowd, you can chart a pretty good path that's going to give you a good shot at getting away, as long as you haven't just blatantly set fire to the building and are carrying the torches. As long as you're not drawing too much attention to yourself along the way.
Which is a plan.
Cool. And I will say another way to approach this in game terms is remember that when you're in the action, you'll also have the option of a flashback to do cool and interesting things. But this is a very valid use of gather information too. There's often multiple ways to do things.
I'm kind of abusing the flashback rule by just calling my shot ahead of time. I'm gonna use one. And I'm kind of thinking about it now.
All right, who wants to gather information next?
I have another question about my gather information.
Yes.
About streetlights in the general vicinity of said house. Surely he would have noticed.
Oh yeah. That you don't even need to roll for that kind of thing. This is a district that has a lot of electroplasmic lights. This is not the best lit part of Doskvol, but it's not far short of that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, who wants to gather information now?
Me too. Rip has their big concern is the bridge.
Okay.
It's a constriction point, and it could be an easy way to block our access to or from. And so what Rip wants to do is very carefully walk the length of the bridge several times until they're satisfied about where likely blocks might come up and how they might be circumvented.
So are you talking, you're not Bowmore Bridge or the bridge between you? So that you probably won't need to cross necessarily unless your escape path takes you that way.
I don't know why. For some reason I kept thinking that we were going to cross over to...
So you are in Brightstone, you're kind of northwest of Six Towers where you usually are. Bowmore Bridge leads you away from home.
I see.
And your drop-off point is actually east across a canal.
Right. So there's actually 2 bridges that are nearby, aren't there?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I go across both of them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're scouting the bridges as possible.
I want to scout the bridges, and while I'm doing it, I guess since the canal is the big separator, I want to go up and down the lengths of the canal. So I'm looking at the map, like all the way from essentially for lack of a better word, the coastline down, say, like 3 segments of that canal. So there's 3 bridges.
Yep, I got
Those would be probably where we would find the most resistance and or the most freedom. And so I just kind of want to see where we might be able to circumvent any kind of problems there. It's a little bit like what Helena was getting at, but I want to specifically look at these choke points.
Okay. So which skill do you see yourself using?
I'm not sure which would be more appropriate. I have a pip in survey and I have 2 pips in study.
Study is more book learning. Generally.
Okay, then I'll take the survey.
So if you were like going to the archive map room or something, that would be more of a study thing.
Great.
So you're surveying. Okay.
So I'll just roll a d6, yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay. I had awesomely bad luck last time I did this game, so let's see how we're doing.
5.
Hey,
that's pretty
5.
good. Okay. So you see in your surveying, it seems like a pretty good police, like even a barricade could be set up pretty quickly at the first bridge in their setup for this festival that's coming up tomorrow. The further south you get, the less kind of preparation you see. So it seems like the police perimeter is more like the further you get from Bowmore Hall, the less they're getting ready to do anything. So that's one bit of information that might help you get away. Also, the first bridge there, the bigger one, looks like heavily used in normal times. I mean, that's the main route to get to Bowmore Bridge. That's the main approach. The second and third one, the second one in particular is your quietest one. It's got the least through traffic, but also it's got a lot of things overhanging it. There's like actually some structures built onto the side of that bridge. It's got the most shadows. It's got
potential hidey holes even.
Yeah. So
and also ways to go not just horizontally across the ground, but maybe even vertically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a small canal, and there are constantly like boats going up and down it. There's gondoliers. Actually, there's a gondoliers guild. There's little launches down in there. So a crossing by water might be an option too if you can get your hand on a bridge
I was
or
gonna
on
say,
a boat.
I have some money. Would it be okay for me to hire a gondolier just to be there at that, say, the second bridge down, during the time we're going to be pulling off our heist?
Mhm. Yeah, that would be like pocket change basically for a
Yeah.
gondolier at this time.
Yeah, I will pay them not just pocket change, but a reasonable tip on top of it to secure their position there.
All right.
I
That leaves-
literally have a getaway driver.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
but you might want alternate routes. Who knows?
anyway, this alternate route cost us nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't have to use it. This is
All right.
I was literally just thinking of a backup plan.
So we've got Silver and Seymour still?
Yeah.
Yes, I can go.
Sure.
Because mine's pretty easy. I'm gonna find out what I can about the guests attending.
Okay. So how are you going to do that, or what action do you want to use?
Let's see. Would a finesse be something? What is you might need to help me a little bit with this.
Yeah.
Or
Finesse is
a consort would.
a consort would make a lot of sense. So I imagine Silver having like, she's not necessarily accepted in all over society, but she's got some people willing in the society world to like, talk to this sort of scandalous figure. And so consorting would mean you're kind of like working those contacts.
Yes, I will be working the contacts.
Okay,
so yes,
great.
I
How
will
many
be
dots do you
consorting.
have?
I only have one on that, but
Okay.
okay. So what? 1d6.
So 1d6, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a 4. Okay, you guys are all rolling medium successes here. Okay, so the good news is people are ready to gossip about this. So the deal with the Bowmores is they have always been rich. They're still rich. They're not necessarily connected in society as much as you think they would be. And the current generation, Lady Anna Bowmore and her brother, Commander Bowmore, who happens to run the police, the Bluecoats in Brightstone District. Not a big deal. Probably not a big thing. They are looking to convert their money into status, hence this big celebration. And they've been, the rumor is they're trying to get the cream of the crop of society to show up at this thing. And it's not entirely clear how successful they will be. Some noble people will be there. Some embassy staff will be there. Some well-to-do merchants. But it's not clear if this is going to pay off like they think it is. But the people who get invited to the inner part are at least mostly wealthy and somewhat socially connected at minimum. The outer party, it's open to the public and riffraff, and who cares about that?
Well, I definitely want to be in the inner circle. I am wondering, does the house of is it the House of Rowan?
Rowan, yep.
Yeah, I am apparently in with the House of Rowan. Which is something I selected in a previous game.
Yeah, I think your group had like a sort of some sympathy with them. Yeah, the whole
right.
Sun
Would,
Chasers.
would they be higher in status than?
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely.
Say, well, then I could work that angle probably. If they're if they're looking to elevate their place in society, then clearly they're going to want to know a friend of the House of Rowan.
Definitely. So yeah, that's kind of what you get about who is going to be there.
Okay.
And that leaves Seymour.
Yeah, I would like to go down to not the servants' entrance, but I assume somewhere in the block there's somewhere where servants and teamsters are grabbing a beer or something like that.
Okay.
And I would like to just slip in there and casually strike up some conversations and maybe start spreading a rumor that there might be a last-minute visit from the exterminators again to do some cleanup work.
Okay. So what attribute do you see using for that? I have some
I would assume
thoughts.
consort.
It could be
or sway.
consort. Yeah.
They're both 2 pips.
Okay. Yeah, consort would be more like getting chummy and having drinks and just sort of listening. Sway is kind of a more active.
Yeah, I want to do it real subtle. Like I might hit up, 2 or 3 places.
Okay. Yeah, and definitely there's like people loading and unloading here, and then there's like
there's got to be
Bowmore staff Yeah.
eating lunch somewhere or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
2d6.
Yes. And we'll take the higher.
That's a 6.
Okay, you've got a
Hmm.
6. All right. Ooh. So let me look at my available information because you should get some. So you're partly trying to, or your
My
goal
goal
is to set up
is
this.
to make it seem like not a terrible surprise if
Mhm.
the exterminators show up at the servant entrance on event night.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I
and
just want to start
actually-
spreading a rumor that there might be a few rats back and they might be coming back to do a little work.
Yeah, and actually, in one of these, like one of the House Bowmore, like lackeys, like not like
Mhm.
liveried, but like one of their menial staff is like, yeah, I mean, this place is like 20 feet from the water. The ships come through here. Yeah, I can't believe one trip from the exterminator would have gotten rid of all the rats and bugs and things that lived in that place. They don't use this place that much, honestly. This place has been like a zillion different things over the years. It's just this maze, this warren down there. I bet there's
Yeah,
rooms
and
the
it
first
sits
exterminator
pretty
didn't even
empty?
see. Usually, yeah. I mean, we've been
Yeah.
working in here for about a week now to get it ready, honestly.
So there must be. I mean, you guys have been working in there for a while. There must be some, shortcuts and paths through there.
Oh yeah, well, so there's two. You got a 6. There's like 2 whole systems in there, right? There's the part that people are going to go in through, and then there's our servants areas, and there's locked doors between the two that only some of the the supervisors have, some of our bosses have to get from one to the other. But yeah, it's amazing there. You get lost in there.
Right on, right on. I better not push my luck any further. I think I'll stop there.
Okay, I mean, you got a 6. You get some
Okay.
good stuff from that, and yeah, so. They're like, yeah, sure, definitely. There could be exterminators again. I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
All right. So that's your gather information. So now we're going to get ready for our engagement roll. So you will be picking the type of approach here, and you can do kind of a hybrid between a couple if you want. So here's the general ones defined in the game, and we can modify them. There's an assault, do violence to a target. Deception, lure, trick, or manipulate. Stealth, trespass unseen. Occult, engage a supernatural power. Social, negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Transport, doesn't really make sense here. Carry cargo or people through danger. And obviously some, like last time, you kind of did a combination of stealth and deception, for example.
Could I throw out my idea, guys?
Go for it.
What's that?
Yep.
Okay, so we go in 2 teams. One on the guest list through the front door, the other posed as exterminators. The exterminators get down in the belly of the beast, and they turn off the electricity, or they turn the boiler way up, or they release some stink bombs, and they cause a big distraction. Then the 2 upstairs at the party can snatch the book in the confusion, and we can make our getaway to the canal, where most of us get on the gondolier ride, while someone else hides out with the actual book and lets the pursuit blow by, and then they go to the dead drop.
I like it.
Helena raises her hand with as if to ask a question, then immediately starts with, has everyone else noticed that most of our plans have just been Seymour and Silver sneaking off together?
And Silver says, please don't tell Gregor. He would be very upset.
Hell yeah. We're getting uniforms? Tell me we're getting uniforms.
Like, do you guys like this idea? Or
I like the
it's,
idea.
it's just what came together.
The only way Willie's getting in there is as an exterminator.
I was thinking of the angle of the exterminators to begin with, but you have really come up with an excellent plan. At the risk of metagaming too much, who has the best prowl?
I don't think that's metagaming. I mean, we know what our skills are.
You know who's the sneakiest?
I do
not.
not.
Who's got 2 pips?
It's me.
Then Helena will be the one who hides with the loot.
All right.
Hell yeah.
And I'll say, by Blades in the Dark heist standards, that was an incredibly elaborate and detailed plan. So
I'm sorry.
Suggesting no, that's great.
I like it.
But I would say don't refine it anymore, because that's what the engagement role kind of does. But the
mean,
general principle of
we can pick like which canal we're going to set the gondolier at, right?
Yes. I arbitrarily picked the second bridge, but we can. I still
that's
think
good.
the second bridge is the best one because the bridge itself has a bunch of hiding places.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Okay.
I actually
That's the
favor
plan.
an escape by water because we can take the canals right into Six Towers.
All right. So the last thing before our engagement roll, each of you individually can pick your loadout. And that's how much load you have. And remember, you don't pick the individual items that you're carrying. You pick the amount of stuff you can carry. And as it becomes relevant, you can say, one of my items was the line shooter or my armor or whatever it might be. So a light load should be on your character sheet.
What are the
So here's
disadvantages of heavier loads?
Well, here's light. You can carry 1 up to 3. You're faster, less conspicuous. You blend in with normal citizens.
Okay.
Normal, you can go up to 4 or 5, but you look like a scoundrel ready for trouble, like you're carrying stuff. Heavy, you're slower. You look like an operative on a mission. And encumbered, you probably don't do it. 7 to 9, you're overburdened, can't do anything except move slowly. So probably don't do that one.
Well, we kind of all have to go with the light load, right?
I mean,
Not those
exterminators
are
can walk
exterminators.
in with more gear. You can walk in with
Probably
bags
even be
full of
heavy.
stuff.
Yeah.
But very specifically, we look like scoundrels getting ready to do something, right?
But I bet we could still, if we need some wrenches and tools to loosen some pipes or whatever, I don't know.
I'm keeping myself live.
Okay. So that takes us to the engagement roll. That's going to set up your opening position here. So you get 1 die as your base fortune. Let's see if any of these major advantages apply. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I kind of think so. I don't know.
I kind of think so.
I kind of think so too.
Like, this is definitely 007 music.
I'll say in the game Blades in the Dark, which is a game about pulling off ridiculous heists, what sets ours apart from? Like, this is just me asking. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what the. I don't know how to gauge these things.
Well, I mean, the part where you're like setting off stink bombs or blowing things up in hopes of driving people off, I think that's pretty bold and daring. I think you get that die.
Yeah.
Does this planned detail expose a vulnerability of the target and hit them where they're weakest?
I have an argument for this.
Okay.
So we literally have in hand a rumor being circulated within the halls of the house that another round of exterminators are coming. So we've exploited a vulnerability within their system.
Okay. I'm persuaded. So you're up to 3 dice now. Friends or contacts provide aid or insight? I kind of don't think so at this point.
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
I was going to say for me they do, don't they?
No.
Specific, yeah.
Target is lower tier? No.
Oh, no.
Which I know. District modifiers, do they help you being in the most policed district in one of the most policed districts of Doskvol? No, that doesn't help you. Disadvantages, is it overly complex, contingent on many factors? I don't think so.
No.
Is the target strong against this approach as far as you know, or have particular defenses or preparations?
I would assume they'd be heavily securityed tonight.
But I mean, that's kind of like a given, I think.
Okay.
And in fact, I'll cut to the chase. I think your only minus here is the built-in district modifier of Brightstone, which is heavy police presence in the district as a whole. So that's going to take back 1 die. So somebody can roll 2 dice ultimately for your initial engagement roll and to see your starting how bad things are right off the bat. And remember, if it's bad, it doesn't mean the deal doesn't work. It just means you start in a tougher position than you might expect.
Seymour,
I had a 6 and a 5 on my last roll.
Oh yeah, you should roll that.
I mean, I talk now.
You roll lucky once, you're going to roll lucky twice, right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah,
that's exactly. So 2d6.
Yes, please.
Oh,
3 to 2.
What did I say?
Oh,
3 and a 2.
Oh,
wow!
I am sorry. I apologize for.
Okay.
At least there weren't ones.
Okay, so that's a 3. Bad result. You'll start off in a desperate position when the action starts. All right. Here we go.
This is how we make legends, guys.
Okay.
Valhalla.
Right, ride or die.
We have Silver and Seymour. You are coming in the front door. So you go through the riffraff party where just the people, like, it's this cool festival where they get to hang out in a cool spot and there's like free food and limited amounts of drink. So you get through that, of course. And then you present your invitations to get into the inner sanctum and through the front door. That goes just fine. The guards give you the once over, but in a polite way. And they're liveried guards. They are in black and green outfits carrying pikes. And a major domo is checking your credentials against the list. And he says, yes, please go on in. And then as you go in, you hear a familiar voice. There must be no standards at this party. That woman doesn't belong here. Good to see you again, cousin. Okay. And we'll cut to the back door now. So that leaves Gun, Rip, and the Coleridge Badger, Willie.
Yes.
So you are coming in. Describe your Terminator outfits. Exterminator, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Well, I mean, leather jacket, sunglasses.
box of roses.
Uzi 9mm. No, exterminator. Okay, so you are going to that servant's entrance that you sussed out earlier in presumably something that looks plausible as an exterminator garb.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so your background work did the trick. You get in through the door. You're going in. There's musicians coming in and out. Now there's people carrying, food and casks of beverages and bottles in and out through this door, and people barking orders. We need cleanup in there. Somebody spilled again, and that sort of thing. You get to a side. So you guys are going to, try to get in and then break off into those servant tunnels?
Yep.
Okay. So you do so, and you are able to, as exterminators, somebody challenges you at the door but sees what you're there for and lets you in to the back tunnels. That goes fine. You make your way along the wall of a building, an interior wall, and you get to a main support pillar, and there's a strange device strapped to the pillar, and Willie, you immediately recognize it as some kind of explosive used by miners. All right, sit on that for a moment. Back inside, Silver, the person who just challenged you recognize immediately your younger cousin, actually, Andrel Dava. He works at the embassy now, was a childhood rival, and of course, with your family, you are persona non grata.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps up to you and says, "How dare you show your face in society?"
Okay, so I say, how nice to see you, cousin. I'm glad your manners are still as intact as ever. Very sarcastic tone, obviously.
I am going to find Lady Bowmore at once and ask her why in the world she would have invited you here after what you did to our family.
I hook my arm through Silver's,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of get in this guy's face a little bit, and I say, Archduke Chauncey Peppertooth at your service. Is there a problem? And I use my fine cover identity
Nice.
Okay.
as Archduke Chauncey Peppertooth to try to bully this child
Upstart.
into submission.
Okay. So now we are at an action roll in the midst of the action, and we're in a desperate position because you were challenged right off the bat inside the door. And I'm going to throw another wrinkle in for both parties. We're going to start a 6-tick clock that I will keep track of that represents whether you attract too much attention from security. None of them are ticked yet, though. So what skill do you see Seymour using here?
I could use either consort or sway.
Sounds more sway to me. Consort's
Okay.
usually more of a polite, like you're
Yep.
kind of sitting down
That's
together.
kind of what I think too. It's 2 pips either way.
Okay. And so ways you can get bonuses, so you've got your 2 dice. You could burn 2 dice to push and really sell it for another die. Your fine cover identity will increase the impact of it if you're successful. Your compadre here, Silver, if she wanted to, could spend a stress, just one stress, to give you an extra die.
Hmm. At this point, I would subtly squeeze Silver's hand and nudge her foot or something.
Play along.
Okay. Well, duh. Of course, I'm going to play along.
Okay. Yeah. What do you say to help sell this?
To help sell
Transparent lie.
this? Transparent lie.
I mean,
you
I have a fine cover
Here
identity.
we go. Yes, cousin, you must give me your address so that we can send you our wedding invitation.
Ooh. What was Gunn saying earlier? Okay. So I am counting.
We're buds.
I'm
We're
counting
the
your 2
charismatic
initial, and Silver's spending a stress, it sounds like, which will bring up to 3 dice.
Okay.
But your position is desperate because you are, well, because of your bad engagement roll. You're kind of caught left-footed here, as they say. So 3d6.
That's just Seymour, right?
Oh,
That's just Seymour.
Okay.
4 was my best.
Okay, 4. I'm going to give you a choice, Seymour. You can send her cousin away fuming here and like trying to badmouth you guys and try to get attention to the guards to pay closer attention to you, but he's doubting himself enough that he's not going to just outright rat you out. The ultimate effect is it's going to give you a tick on your bad news, the jig is up sort of chart. Or you don't get that, but this guy's going to be like following you, trying to like break your cover story because he's still suspicious, but you don't attract unwanted attention yet.
I would take the tick.
Okay. All right. So he looks back and forth at the two of you, and Sir Duke Pepperbottom, was it?
Chauncey Peppertooth.
Tooth. And I assume part of your cover identity is there have been rumors of you around town in the past. He says, well, I hope we don't run into each other too soon, cousin, he says. Yes, my lord. And he stalks off fuming. So you guys get the lay of the land here now. There are a lot of people here. You see Silver, the cream of the crop of society is sparsely represented, but there's, well-to-do looking merchant types, lesser nobility, that sort of thing. You see Lady Bowmore and her brother, Commander Bowmore, in full police regalia. They're both dignified, good-looking people in their 40s-ish or so. They're holding forth in kind of a central area, meeting and greeting and things like that. You guys are pros. So you see, there's these dudes with pikes around, but you realize they're not the real security. Like in a crowded room, a bunch of guys stabbing around with pikes, what are they going to do? You see what are clearly to you out of uniform Bluecoats, not your line officers, but Bluecoat agents. They're the real security here. You can tell that. And they're innocuously looking around, just trying to make sure nobody's making trouble, nobody's in here that shouldn't be. So that's the level of security you can see. And opposite the way you came in, you see people kind of lining up, and it looks like they're waiting. That's where the tour is to get in and see the display area. What are you guys going to do?
I would like to, keeping arms hooked, just kind of slowly, innocuously work our way around the room, mark entrances and exits, put some faces to memory, try to get an exact lay on where this ledger is.
Okay. So we'll leave you meeting and greeting and mingling and head down to the backstairs team. Willie, you see what is clearly a bomb for some reason set on this pillar.
And where is this pillar located?
It's on an exterior wall. It's a load-bearing pillar, definitely.
What can I tell about this bomb?
Oh, I don't know. What can you tell about the bomb? Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, do I need to roll a tinker?
I think you do. Yeah, and so you don't need to actually tinker with it.
No, but I've been thinking about this since you mentioned that there was a bomb. I think, is there anyone here with me?
It's your two guys. You got
Yep.
Yep.
So we're all together here?
I believe, unless you had plans to split up, I was assuming you're all together.
Okay, well, Willie right off the bat is saying he does not like this. and this does not seem right. And I think we may be getting set up here. But I'm going to
Right.
tinker with this. My only other one is survey, which doesn't seem right. Study certainly doesn't seem right.
No.
I could either study it or tinker with it.
I think we can call it a tinker, but how do you want to get hands on or not?
No, I'm just trying to see what this. I want him to determine, the size of it,
Oh.
the explosive capacity of it, how it's triggered, the whole shebang. Which
Okay,
I'm gonna have to roll for. So,
go for it.
oh God, do I want to stress?
It feels like a good time to be
It
stressed.
feels like a good time. I'm stressed just thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 stress.
Okay. Oh, did you guys take Gregor? I wanna establish where Gregor is. You could have had him stay home, or guard the gondola or whatever.
Oh, I'm not minding Silver's dog.
Okay.
Thanks. You're real helpful. That's why I'm always hanging out with Seymour, because he's helpful.
I mean,
Okay.
Silver, it's your decision.
Okay, well, so
oh.
I think Gregor's watching the gondola, so that
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Sounds good. So were you spending stress, or were your teammates spending stress to
No,
help you
I was
analyze?
spending 2 stress, so I'm at 3 stress
pushing.
now.
3 dice.
And I'm gonna go for 3 dice.
Excellent.
Oh shit! I have a 5.
Oh,
A
5's not
5
bad.
and 2 ones. No, 5's all right, but
Yeah, so it's a bomb, and you recognize it as something that, I mean, this is familiar to you, actually. This is something that somebody who wanted to blow up rock would build.
Well, I put this here.
And there's other bad news here along with that piece of information. You see it's got a simultaneous electroplasmic detonator, which you've seen this before. If you want to have a bunch of bombs go off at once,
yeah, we're being set up here.
you put this receiver on each one. Oh, you don't know if you're being set up or not, but you do know that there's this bomb, and probably with this kind of detonator, there's probably more of it.
That was what I was afraid of. And you said this is at an exterior wall
Yeah.
on the
So
riverside.
this one you think would take off a good, I mean, you can't really tell with your 5, you can't tell exactly how powerful this bomb would be, but I mean, if you put it on a pillar, probably the idea is it knocks out at least this wall, and who knows what the other ones do. And actually one more piece of, you see a little bit of blood on the workings where wires were attached together.
Huh.
Blood. How fresh?
Pretty fresh, you would say.
So this was just put here.
Pretty recently, you think, yes.
Well, I got good news about our distraction.
Well, this is just gonna pancake the whole building. It's like that terrible, tragic tenement disaster.
Why don't we I think we should locate the others. The other bombs.
Should we disarm them, do you think?
Are we gonna spend all this time just going around disarming these bombs?
I'm not suggesting that yet. How many of them are we dealing with? Is it really going to pancake the building, or is it just blowing out a couple of walls here and there?
Blowing out a couple of walls for what purpose, though?
But that's what we won't know.
Yeah,
until
we
know
need to
how many
see.
bombs there are.
We need to see if there's more of them, at least for a start. This
That's
just seems really shady to me that we're getting paid all this money for a ledger.
Okay, so you guys going to make your way along in the back corridors looking for more of the same?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Hurrying.
You hustle around a corner and you see a guard in the livery I mentioned, in the black and green, with the pike, clearly knocked out, large visible bruising on his face, like sprawled out on the ground. Somebody fairly strong clearly
Walloped them.
hit them and knocked them down. Just walloped them real good.
Is the pike still there?
The pike is still here, yes.
Take it.
Cool, you can do that, no problem.
Do we not revive him?
No, fuck no. Why would we?
Okay. You guys can ponder your next actions. Let's go back to Seymour and Silver. The party is picking up. Some musicians just started up 3 stringed instruments. playing just background sort of mellow music, nothing super party-y. Lady Bowmore made a little announcement thanking everybody for coming and celebrating this wonderful event, the anniversary of the building of the Bowmore Bridge, and then let people go back to a mingling. You've made your way around to the there's a line now in the tour, and you see as you've been approaching, they're like having people wait, taking in just a few people at a time to go and do the tour. So you've seen a couple groups like go in, come back out. Silver, you overheard somebody, like one of the more high society types, like, "Oh, how desperately exciting. If I see another architectural image, I shall surely pass out with excitement." So the society people aren't too impressed anyway. And there's still a bit of a queue at the line or at the entrance to the tour area. And let's see, Seymour, you see a familiar face who you knew as Tashka the All-Knowing, a young Six Towers resident who used to run a mind-reading con. Or was it a con? You don't really know. And she seems to be walking around looking closely at people, not really talking to anybody, but sort of, I don't know, looking at them and divining them. She turns away from someone and starts to make her way over to you two, Silver and Seymour.
I will go ahead and walk right up to her, and I will give her a flourishy bow,
Mm-hmm.
and I will kiss the back of her hand, and I would say, Archduke Chauncey Peppertooth at your service. Wink.
Okay. And Silver, you see this going on. You read the situation pretty well, of course. You see this as a person looking around, looking for people up to no good. Are you going to jump in here too?
I think I will. Who was the person in the high society who was acting bored?
She is from a noble house. She's just a generic background character, but it is relevant at this point. Lord Skurlockina. What?
What? No. Please.
I'm just getting some noble names here for you.
It doesn't. I mean, my thought was, and this, this may be, this may be a weird thought or something. I'm kind of not entirely sure what I'm doing here. I mean, I'm consorting. I'm acting as a decoy, so to speak. Possibly, trying to maybe I can get a private tour somehow. Depending on who I know. Is the brother, the Lord Beaumont? Is he a single gentleman?
Commander Bowmore, yes, he actually. They both are famously single at such an advanced age for a noble family member.
How old is he?
Like 41.
Okay,
they're both
great.
they're both low 40s.
That works. Is there like any opportunity to walk past the commander and drop my handkerchief or something?
Oh, you absolutely could do that.
Okay. I'll let Seymour talk to his friend.
Okay.
I'll go over and try to work the flirt angle. Would
Okay.
that be a finesse, by the way?
I think that sounds like a fine finesse to me.
Okay. All right.
So, do you have 2 dots in that, as I dimly recall?
I do.
Okay, and you always have the option of pushing or stressing.
Okay. Both.
Ow.
Ooh, you've got a critical success. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Oh.
Let's see. I think that was moderate effect, but that was a critical, exceptional result. Great roll. Okay, what are you hoping to accomplish here? Because you're mostly, I mean, within reason, probably
Sleep with
going to
him.
do it.
I'm hoping to
Sleep with him. Do
well, can we get this heist over with first?
That would be the critical success.
Okay. That would not be a critical success. Thank you.
He's very wealthy.
Well,
He
yes,
is.
but I mean, I don't want to be his mistress.
Well, and he is again the commander of the Bluecoats in this precinct.
All right. Okay, so basically, what I want is for him to be struck by my strikingness and wish to know wish to know who I am, and but not really in depth who I am. He's just smitten at first sight, and I want to try to talk him into giving my cousin and I, now you're my cousin, Seymour, a private tour.
Okay, critical success. He is intrigued and stricken with your strikingness, and he would be more than willing to bring you up in front of the line and give you a private tour with your cousin. Definitely cousin, he says,
Yes,
coquettishly.
Lord Chauncey. He's yes, distant
Hmm.
cousin, but we were brought up together, so he's like my brother.
Okay, and Seymour, you've got a mind reader or a self-proclaimed mind reader staring intently at you as you kiss her hand, and she appears to be trying at least to look deep through into your soul. What do you do?
So my introduction as Archduke Chauncey Peppertooth Wink didn't
Well,
elicit
you
any
gotta
sort of reaction.
sell it, baby.
You want a consort or a sway?
That sounds a little consorty, I think. Yeah. Everybody's consorting up here. I don't know about you guys downstairs.
Meanwhile, my slash fiction that I've been writing here is going just no longer canon, I guess. So we'll never get to see Silmar, I suppose.
No,
Okay. She says,
That's a 6.
right. Silmar. Right. My lord? She actually knows you from an outside life. But a 6. So what are you hoping to persuade her to do with your consort
I'm hoping
here?
to persuade her to just play along with me being Lord Chauncey Peppertooth tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And just, hey, old pal from the hood, we're both working an angle here. Let's be buddies about it.
Yes, my lord. Do you have your card?
Certainly, and I'll flourishingly produce my credentials.
Right, because that's part of your false identity package. Okay. She looks at it, winks at you, and goes back out to work the crowd with her stellar mind reading technique. And in the meantime, Silver has lined up a private tour with the police captain of this district and
And I walked up to her and I say, "Oh, my lady love," and I kiss her. No.
Oh.
Lots of tongue.
I sort of give him the side eye and go and sort of shake my head like don't be.
Stay on the 80 lovely.
Okay.
Okay, I heard the beginnings of a plan in our backstairs gang.
Yes. So Helena takes a moment looking regarding the dead body and says, I bet Silver and Seymour are getting like fancy drinks and meeting fancy people and stuff right now. Meanwhile, and she surveys the crime scene to try to see if she can track down the murderer.
Okay, go ahead and survey.
Okay.
And
actually, I'd like to hunt.
Oh, you'd like to hunt? Okay, that makes sense. Actually, you're hunting and see if you can track this.
Is this guy dead? I thought he was unconscious.
He is unconscious. I was going to supply this information on a successful roll, but yes, a quick glance affirms that he is bleeding but unconscious. Bleeding and unconscious but alive, I should say.
Can I, with a 4, do I find any trace of where the assailant might have gone?
Yeah. Okay. So it looked every now and then. You're a hunter, so you could spot this sort of thing. So you're in this like dank, disused area of the building. Mostly, you see some tracks through here. Probably the real exterminators came through here. You suppose at some point in a week ago or so. You see signs that guards are, obviously, because there's one of them here, patrolling this area from time to time. But also, you see footprints leading away and some drops of blood leading further now toward the interior of the building, away from this exterior wall you just came from. And when you look back, you see, now that I look, there was, there are a couple drops of blood. Somebody's not bleeding profusely. But like it looks like somebody was cut and didn't take time to do anything about it. And also you see it looks like some kind of equipment was being dragged along on a little sledge or something like that, not with wheels, but something's been scraped along, carrying things along the way. And it, again, all that leads to the interior of the building.
Okay.
Let's follow the blood trail.
Yeah. That way.
What are you guys doing for light down here. There are some flickering electroplasmic lights, but there are patches of darkness along the way too.
Is it enough that we need to have? Let me put it this way: would an exterminator bring a light source down here? Is it that dark, or is it just like not?
Yeah, it would not look out of place for you guys to have a light. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're wondering if it would look obtrusive, yeah, like a lamp or something like that. There's a
lantern
to find the game. Yeah.
They wouldn't have happened to have supplied us with lanterns, would they have?
Lanyards?
Lanterns.
Oh, lanterns. No, I think you would have had to bring your own, I think.
Okay. So I fill up the fucking bubble. So
yeah, you're exterminators and you need to bring your own damn lights? That sounds pretty suspicious to me.
No, we're not exterminators. We're thieves.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So here's a lantern.
Okay, yeah, so I've got a lantern at least.
Okay, so we have a source of light. Is there a blood trail?
Yes,
There
so
sure
it
is.
leads and along with this sledge tracked along. And Rip, as the other two are looking at the prone form of the guard, you see, like I said, there are some of these electroplasmic lights in occasional areas down in this sort of backstairs maze here. You see them weirdly blink and ripple in and out. Like, is there a problem with the power source or is something disrupting it? You're not sure off the top of your head, but being who you are, you take notice of it.
Oh. Can I use a tune to tell me if there's anything around here?
That'd be what a tune is for. So that's a tune is all about tapping into the electroplasmic field and seeing if there's anything weird about.
Icon has 2 pips in that. May I roll it?
You may. Failures are
5.
really interesting on these. Okay, 5. Let's see. So a partial success. Yeah, there is something. Almost you actually feel like there's a couple of weird entities within, maybe inside the building or just outside the building. And you feel like they are occasionally doing something that ripples through the electroplasmic field. With a partial success, you also get a whiff that they may have felt you looking for them. But you definitely sense that there are probably 2 supernatural entities somewhere down here.
Okay.
You can't quite put a finger on what they are with your 5.
I have on me at all times a Demon Bane charm.
Ooh, what does that do?
And I found my PDF of the rules. So it says an arcane trinket that demons prefer to avoid.
Oh, interesting, isn't it? Okay. And demons are real big badasses. I mean, ghosts are pretty common. Occasionally there's like vampires or ghost-possessed automatons. Demons are the real deal. That's bad. You don't like them. Or maybe you do like them. Okay. Yes, guard still alive, down on the floor, trail leading inward.
Follow the trail. Look for
Yeah,
clues.
this trail is going to lead us to more bombs. So I want to study these bombs more.
Okay. Upstairs, the commander is now ready. Commander Bowmore is ready to lead you into the tour. A couple of sort of middle-class merchants are a little consternated that you've all cut in front of them in line. I'm assuming you can live with that on your consciences, Spider and Seymour, or Seymour and Silver?
Certainly.
Yes, so he brings you into what has been set up as an exhibit hall, and he explains this building used to be, among other things, a police precinct. It was a warehouse for docks that were built near here. It was a supply station for the bridge. And he says it all in an offhanded way. He doesn't really care all that much. But they've converted now this big room into the exhibit hall. And it's just like, if you're at Golden Gate Bridge or something, here's a section of the metal that we used. And here's plans and blueprints and this and that. And he honestly, you get the impression that he doesn't even really care about this stuff. He says, yes, the older generation, they thought this was very important, so we told them we'd put it up on a pedestal for them. But frankly, I could give a rat's ass. Don't tell anyone I said that. my family would think less of me, except my sister. She doesn't really care either. But you were very excited to see this. What are you so interested in? Maybe I can give you a guided tour. All the attention here, Seymour, is on Silver. I mean, you're there, and he occasionally nods in your direction. But
My cousin here is a great collector of old and rare books, and he had heard rumors of a ledger. He wanted to see.
oh yes, the legendary ledger. It's over here, and then in a glass case, there's a little, they've made a little fancy calligraphy label of it. Lady Bowmore's ledger. She was in charge of really the financing of the bridge is what they did. But she had this vast ledger, and it's open to a page, and you see little sketches and numbers and tables and things like that crossed out, and notes and weird squiggles across it. Just a bunch of gibberish. Yes, if you'd like to take a close look at that, Seymour, my lady, there are some.
Chauncey.
Oh, yes, sorry, Chauncey, Lord Chauncey. My lady, there are some back rooms off this way if you'd be interested in accompanying me for a little while and leaving Lord Chauncey to take a closer look. You got 2 6s. This guy'll do what you want.
Sir, I'm not
If
sure.
I'm not being too forward, of course.
Well, I normally would never do this without a chaperone, but I suppose as long as we stay within earshot of my cousin.
We're going to have to build a Paramore wing for Silver here.
Hey, I got to do something. You guys have all the fun blowing up stuff.
Okay.
Once again, we're dealing with dead bodies.
Perhaps a drink, a glass of wine or something.
Oh, of course. Wait here.
May
Some
I?
of the, he says, "Wait here. I'll have the servants bring us some drinks." And he goes back out the door to round things up.
All right,
At
Seymour,
this
what's
point,
up?
I would like to produce my vial of slumber essence.
Nice. And drink it all.
Yes, and we just split it between us right here. No. And
Okay.
I would like to say, do you think you can slip this into his drink after a little canoodling?
I'm certain that I could do that, but we must have some kind of cover story because I certainly don't want him to know it was us who stole the ledger because this is getting a bit obvious.
I suppose you're not using a cover right now, but does he know where to find you?
No, I guess he doesn't, but he would certainly be a good ally to have later on.
Since it's been a while, don't you have something that don't you have a special ability, Silver, that has something to do with what people remember?
Oh, yeah, I believe I do, actually.
Have a look at that while you think about that. That's so it's a possibility.
And
all right.
this ledger, by the way, like
Oh,
how
yeah,
big is it? Is it
mesmerism.
something? Is it something I could conceivably conceal under my coat, or
How big's your coat? It's a big book.
Okay.
Like think a good size like dictionary that you might win if you won the 6th grade spelling bee and they put your name on it. Something like that.
Well, he's got a very large, ornate coat.
I would bet I have a coat with tails. If I took it off and folded it over, maybe could I convincingly carry it?
Yeah, I
Fold
mean,
it over my arm.
if you walk casual, sure, possibly.
Okay. No, that's just an idea for what I'm trying to walk out of here. I mean, I suppose if I have a vial of slumber essence, I know how long it'll work for.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's down for at least a couple hours with that.
Okay, cool. So we can camp for a minute here.
Right, and the other thing too is that I mean I haven't given it to him yet, but I also
Yeah,
have
take your time.
I have mesmerism. So
Yes.
if I sway somebody, I can, which I have two points in. I may cause them to forget that it's happened until they next interact with you. So yeah, I would have to sort of perform that on him so he doesn't remember anything about the ledger being gone or that kind of thing.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, then maybe we call an audible and just slip out with the ledger now and then wait by the drop point for the guys.
Okay.
Or the meetup point, rather.
Backstairs, our trio makes its way down the path, and you hear like the obvious sound of basically the generator, the electrostatic generator in the basement. And you're seeing like glowing coming from it. And as you make your way down a hallway toward it, you hear the sounds of activity, like some clanking and somebody cursing under their breath. You can't see them yet. They're kind of around a corner. But it sounds like somebody heavily engaged in some sort of tinkering type activity. What do you do?
I peek around the corner.
Okay. You don't even need to be particularly stealthy. You see a beautiful man, like smooth-skinned, well-proportioned, somebody who obviously works out in a way to look good. Flowing hair, all of that. His hands are all cut up. He's clearly not somebody who works with his hands much, though, and he's working with these cutting wires and splicing and doing it, even though his hands don't appear to be cut out for it, doing it incredibly nimbly. And you see him working on attaching another detonator to the generator. Now, pretty much any explosion on the generator has a good chance of taking most of the building and anybody with it.
Person is possessed.
And so you're peeking at him for now, and he's working intently. He's and you could tell just at a glance, Willie, he's close to having this one up and running.
Now, these simultaneous electroplasmic detonators.
Yeah.
I assume that's not a low end device.
No, to do that, it would take somebody very familiar with demolition.
Okay. And would that also be a pricey device?
You can MacGyver it. You could buy it from like people who deal in mining supplies. You could certainly steal it. You would know how to somebody to steal it from.
Okay, so they're a fairly standard mining demolition device.
Yeah. It's not like everybody on the street is carrying these, but yeah. Like somebody who knew mining and demolitions would know about this stuff.
Oh, God. And Willie would also know how these things are detonated, how they're triggered.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So how are they triggered?
So pretty much a couple ways. They could be set on a timer. Just one of them would have a timer. They all have a sympathetic electroplasm that would make them all go off at once.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have a remote detonator. Depending on how strong it was, you could do it from 100, 200 feet away. If you're really talented, you could do it from further away.
Okay, and I wasn't able to tell by looking at the other one.
That one didn't have a timer on it.
Oh, so it's a remote detonator.
Well, but again, only one of them needs the timer. And the other ones will go off sympathetically.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Over to you guys.
And you hear him muttering, "Bowmores, you killed my buddies. You'll have what's coming to you." And the voice, it sounds like if you ever went to a play, like that was from a couple hundred years ago, the working class character might talk kind of like that. This guy isn't talking like...
This guy is possessed. I do it.
Mm-hmm.
He is possessed. I don't know how this works in this game, but can I try and yank the spirit out of this person? Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. It's all manner possible. You can try to use your attune, for example, to try to compel.
Oh, that sounds good. Just get him to stop what he's doing.
I highly suggest you take some stress.
Well, I was...
Go
ahead.
I will say, okay, we're going to go through our action roll here. So your goal is to use your attune power to just get him to stop building the bomb for now?
For now. Excuse me, for now.
For now, okay. You're not trying to yank the spirit out of the body or anything?
No, let's start small and just get him to stop it.
So you don't need a huge effect, so that's good news. However, this is a ticklish situation. I think the position is kind of desperate. Because if you do something wrong to the guy assembling the detonator, bad things could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Effect level, though, you only need modest effect. So your attune, I recall, is 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you pushing?
No, I'll save the pushing for later. I had such great in quotes luck last game.
Okay. And did you have a clock going about having a weird spirit from the other plane having an interest with you?
All right, I have 2 clocks. One you had me call Ghosts a Comin'.
Yep.
And another one called Curious Spirit.
Okay. I'm going to offer you a devil's bargain. If you take 2 ticks on the Ghosts a Comin', you can have an extra die. You can refuse that or use it. It's your choice.
I'll skip it for now.
Okay.
But I am tempted.
Coward.
No, I hate it. You called me a
Right?
coward. Oh,
You don't
I'll
have to
still
take the devil's bargain.
oh, you're not going to do the 2d6. Here's the roll.
Ooh, okay.
A 5.
5, right. I saw the result of a 6 and I got really excited for you there. Okay. So a 5, mixed result, limited partial effect. Okay. So your goal was to get him to stop assembling the bomb.
Yes.
Which he does. So, but he turns toward you now. You had to probably come around the corner to see and attune.
Sure.
And he picks up a sharp tool that he's done with, and whips it at you in rage. He realizes that you are the cause of him being foiled for the moment. And that is going to cause a level 1 harm to you of slashed. You always have the opportunity to try to resist harm when assigned
I'm
to
going to resist it.
Okay. So that's going to be your prowess. And if you remember, there's the 3 each. They're categories of attributes. You look at how many you have at least 1 dot in to see what your resistance roll is.
Okay. So I have in my prowess collection, there's only 1 pip, and that's in prowl.
Okay, so you're going to roll. You take 6 stress minus the result of this die to avoid this harm. If you want to do this,
yes, I will resist. 6.
Oh, okay. You shake it off. Okay, explain how you avoid being slashed by this thing along the way.
Oh, so I remember I told you I picked up the pike.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just knock the tool out of the air as it's coming at me.
Okay, yeah. So this
it looks amazing.
Wire cutting slashing tool bounces off the pike and bounces harmlessly back into the corridor. And the voice, and again, so this guy, actually, you probably, now that you get a good look at him front on, you've seen this guy. He's like a well-known actor and courtesan or in town. If you thought about it a while, he's that guy. You'd remember his name after a bit. You have no reason to think that he would have anything to do with explosives or anything like that. And it looks weird to see him dirty, and his hands are completely uncalloused. So, William H. Macy here to get slashed up here. But he's saying, "I've got to kill the Bowmores. That my men. Didn't you hear about that explosion last week? Why would you help them? Killed 7 of my buddies. Killed 7 of them just last week, and I'll take it back from them all now. Them and all their friends."
It wasn't last week. And also,
it was just 7 days ago. I was there. I saw them all die with my own eyes.
And also, we're not here for what you said we are. We're here to do something else. And you're done.
Okay. We'll stop there and let you persuade him or whatever you guys are going to do to try to stop this. Back up top, the Commander Bowmore is back in. His servants have brought him a platter, which he's carrying very gracefully, by the way. With a couple of wine bottles, a dark and a light something in them, and 2 fancy glasses and 1 less fancy glass. That goes to Seymour. And he says, let me pour, of course, for my lady.
Why, thank you. I will take the white, please, the white wine.
Okay. So he's pouring wine. Are you trying to slip the sleeping serum now?
Well, I would rather just kind of, I don't know, distract him and sway him while Seymour takes the book. But if you think that the slumber stuff is,
I think
what
I had thought. Seymour? I had thought you would peel off with him for a little while, just to buy us some time, and after a little while, slip it to him in a bit after he's been distracted by your charms.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. So are you trying to sway him and slip him the drink or the sleeping serum?
I think. Well, the sway would be so that he doesn't remember.
Right. So you're
So I'd have to
mesmerizing
do
him.
that. Yeah, so I'd have to mesmerize him and kind of do a sleight of hand, simultaneously.
Okay.
I
That's
know,
awesome.
I know that's like a lot, but I can.
Okay. So I'm hearing two separate actions here. Your sweet talking, mesmerizing, and your sleight of hand to get the drink in there.
Yeah.
Which order are you doing these things in?
Good grief.
And they have slipped off to a discreet corner at this point, correct?
Is that right, Silver? That's what I
That
had
is
assumed.
correct. That is
Okay.
absolutely correct. We're
He
in
leads you back
we're
to
in one
some
of the back rooms.
Yeah, funny thing. Yeah, these are back rooms, but they have like beds and well made and freshly cleaned.
Oh.
Why would there be that in this building where they're just having this party? It's almost like they thought something like this might go on. Weirdest thing.
Silver is not going to drink her drink.
Very smart, possibly.
Yeah.
Though you have genuinely consorted him well. He is smitten with you.
But still, best to be wise and clear-headed.
Okay.
I think maybe the how quickly does the slumber potion take effect?
Take a couple minutes. So like you kind of have the option of drug then sway or sway then drug.
I would say, see, here's the thing, and weigh in here, Seymour, if you think, if I sway him first, and then he falls asleep, then maybe he'll just remember me as a wonderful, pleasant person that he was flirting with. But if I do the drink first and then sway him, yeah, he'll remember that he wasn't feeling very well or something. So I think we better sway him first.
Okay. So you are sweet talking him, it sounds like, but secretly bringing your mesmerism power into play here with your sway.
Correct.
Okay. It seems risky. He's a pretty smart customer, really, and he's a cop. So he might, but you've consorted him super well. I think I'm going to call it controlled, actually. So I'm going to lower the risk because of that super successful consort roll earlier.
Okay.
So you're rolling your sway
I roll
now.
Yeah, what am I rolling? Just
how many dots do you have on sway?
oh, sorry, 2. So it's 2d6 again.
2d6 unless you're pushing. Yeah.
What would it cost me to push? What's my stress?
2 stress to add an extra die. Do I have a devil's bargain? I don't think I do.
I have 2 stress filled in. I think that's going to be okay. Let's go ahead and push.
Okay.
So what do I do?
You'll check off 2 stress and then you'll get 3 dice instead of just 2.
Okay, so roll 3d6. Got it. All right.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
All right.
That's not real good.
Okay, so you have your mesmerism doesn't work. He's not going to be swayed to forget you. And you see, you've been around criminals enough. You know when cop instinct kicks in. We're going to give you the consequence of he's suspicious. However, because this is a consequence from a roll, you have the option of rolling resistance.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, let me look at the character sheet again. That sounds like it's going to be a resolve resistance. So you see how many in that category, attune, command, consort, sway, you have at least 1 dot in, if you choose to resist and not have him be suspicious of you.
Okay, well, I have 3. I have 2. I have 1 in command, 1 in consort, and 2 in sway.
Okay, well, so you get to roll 3 dice on this resistance roll. And I forgot on that other resistance roll, you got a 6. The Sun Chasers have a bonus. You always get an extra resistance die.
Oh, that's
I forgot
right.
about that. So your resistance will be 4 dice.
Fuck.
Damn.
You'll be fine.
Luck. I'll say that. I had terrible luck.
And so it's automatically successful. The roll is to see how much stress you take. So it's 6 minus your high number here.
Oh, okay.
Shit. All right.
6. Wow, you guys are masters of resistance. So, how do you allay this moment of suspicion successfully?
I don't know. I place my hand upon his and tell him what a gentleman he is, and that he's charming. And
Okay, he buys it, and that doesn't even stress you out at all. Happy day.
I imagine you did it just like that too. I don't know. You're a gentleman and charming or whatever.
or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Seymour,
Sorry,
you're
I'm not-
alone
I'm
in the
not great at
room.
getting into character. That's why I'm a costume person, not an actress.
Seymour, you're alone in the room with your target. It does have a glass case around it. And you see it's got like a little locked panel on the back.
But there doesn't seem to be any sort. Can I look for a tripwire or anything like that?
Nothing leaps out at you.
Okay.
It does. I mean, in general, in here, it doesn't seem like.
This really doesn't seem like that high value a target.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Okay.
like they are super worried about. Like they don't want people
Okay.
to steal stuff,
Yeah.
but it does. This isn't like the family collection of crown
So-
jewels or something. Yeah.
I might be stretching here. I have all of a light loadout to use.
Uh-huh.
If I had documents, subterfuge supplies, and tinkering tools,
Mhm.
could I just do a real rough fabrication of the ledger to slap in there so that at a casual glance, there's a chance they wouldn't notice that it's missing? Like if
With
they're
this-
distracted by a missing captain at the guard and running around looking at other shit anyway.
Let's see. So what were the 3 items again? Tinkering tools.
I was going to take documents, subterfuge supplies, and tinkering tools.
Okay.
And mash them all together.
Like,
Quick question.
Yes?
Would this be something that maybe we did in a flashback that we
ooh,
prepared
this would be a
let's
perfect
break
use
up
of a
on?
flashback. Okay.
Yay.
Yay, thank you, sir.
That's a good thought. Yes. And thank you for reminding me that exists as a rule because we haven't used it yet. So the way flashback works is the more implausible, the more stress you have to spend to do it. So explain to me what you'd want to do in your flashback to have prepared. So this is right. The heist movie took you straight into the heist. Oh, but here's this obstacle, and we show the scene of you doing this clever preparation in the past.
Could I have tracked down when we were meeting with him? What the fuck is our contact?
Van Dorn.
Van Dorn. Could Van Dorn have described the
He did
ledger to me?
Yeah. He gave you enough of a description so you knew what to steal. Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to have maybe taken the time to make a rough facsimile of the ledger that I can Indiana Jones with.
Okay. I think, let's see, one stress from their descriptions of how flashbacks work, because it wouldn't be that hard. Like,
No, that it's
I'll
fairly
say-
plausible, and
I'll give you a choice. 2 stress gives you something that, unless somebody picked it up and opened it, they wouldn't realize it was gone. 1 stress at least will get a passing glance and they won't stop and look at it twice.
and I just succeed on that. I'm not rolling for it.
Oh no, it's not a roll. Yep. You
Okay.
just spend the stress.
I'll spend 2.
Okay. So you took the time to make
Don't
a
stumble
reasonable
at the finish line, right?
forgery.
Right.
Yeah. So you mark 2 stress. Okay. So, but you are at a locked glass cabinet.
In that case, I would still say I have my tinkering tools with me,
Great.
and I would attempt or my burglary gear, one or the other.
I think burglary gear would be a better benefit here. It would give you a better effect. Yeah.
So I have my burglary gear with me,
Okay.
and I just take my bag full of burglary gear and smash it down on the glass because I have nothing to roll.
Okay. So would you have no dot? So this might be, are you thinking tinker probably? Seems like, I mean, if you wanted to wreck the thing, you could certainly do that, but there's a downside to make it's less subtle.
So it's a roll at disadvantage for tinker.
So what happens? Yes, you roll 2 dice and take the lower. You can push to give yourself, by spending 2 more stress, to give yourself 1 die. So then you're just rolling straight up 1 die.
I mean, does my burglary gear give me any advantage?
Oh, right. Burglary gear, it's usually in terms of, it enables you to do it. Yeah, I'll say, I'm going to throw you a die with your burglary gear. That makes sense.
Okay.
And this isn't a super fancy lock. It's just like a key lock, basic key lock.
So it'd be a straight roll right now.
Yep. Unless you push.
Oh, go big or go home. I'll push.
Okay.
Yeah,
2
man.
more stress.
So that's 2d6.
2
I get.
dice. Yep.
Drive it like you stole it.
Right.
Exactly.
Fast and with a multitude of casualties. 4.
Whew, we'll take it.
4. Okay. It is a partial success. Okay. I'll give you a choice. You get in, but the lock will be broken. Anybody who looks at it is going to see that this lock is broken. Or you hold it at just the right moment and cut yourself pretty badly, and take a level 1 harm from that, but you don't break the lock on the way in.
Harm.
Okay.
So I have no harm so far.
So give yourself a slashed hand as a level 1 harm, and
Okay.
that's could cause problems in the future. You can once again you can resist if you want to avoid that consequence.
I really cannot. I only have 2 stress left before I'm in trauma.
Okay, cut you are, but you've got it open and you can make the swab.
I do so. Am I able to at least wrap my hand up and stick it in my pocket so I'm not trailing blood everywhere?
Yeah,
that-
you can, if nothing else, take you presumably had a handkerchief or something as part of your costume.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, I tie it off, and I tie it off good and hard and tight, and try to slow it down a little bit.
Excellent. All right, downstairs there is
This could matter.
Okay.
Dominant hand or non-dominant hand?
I'm going to say non-dominant because
Okay.
that you'd be holding the tools in your dominant hand.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, down to the generator. Bomb almost set to go. Attractive model guy glaring at you and cursing at you in old-fashioned miner language. He's like, "I'll set it now before they're all ready."
Okay.
What are we doing, team?
Well, Willie's going to defuse this bomb, but you guys need to.
I would like to
Take this
lightning
guy
hook this
out.
bastard out into one of my always on hand spirit bottles.
Okay, and what's Gun doing?
Loading my electroplasmic ammunition.
Okay.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Will electroplasmic ammunition kill a living person?
Well, I mean, it is also a bullet, and it's got the
Okay.
electroplasm. So yes.
'Cause I don't know if we want to kill this guy.
Well, that's what the lightning hook is for.
Yeah. Okay, you're just back up then.
Who are you gonna
Okay.
call?
I am.
All right, so let's take this one at a time. Rip is whipping out the lightning rod and you're trying to what? Pull the ghost out?
Yeah.
All right. The gun, it doesn't take a roll or anything. You've got your electroplasmic ammo loaded and ready to go.
Hold my action until after a rip is gone. Rip go first, me then.
Okay, and then Willie, as they're doing that, you're trying to what?
I've got my fine wrecking tools, so I assume this is the central. We can assume this is the central device. So I am disarming this detonator.
We sure hope so. Okay. All right. So Rip, let's start with you and your attempt to rip this ghost out.
Ah!
Ha ha.
So that's a tune, obviously. It's out, or I would imagine that's what you're going to use. Okay.
And are there additional options available to me, or is it just the 2
You
dice?
can always spend two stress to push.
Yes.
Your compadres are both doing a thing. Like they could try to aid you, but it might be at the sacrifice of their own action. But if they aid you by concentrating, really.
Honestly, if there's... I just can't think of what I could possibly do to help you concentrate more. Probably not talk.
Just stand
I'll go
behind
ahead-
him. Concentrate.
I'll go ahead and push it.
Well, I mean,
Give Rip.
Yeah, push it.
Gun, if we can think of if you want to help, if you can think of a narrative way as you're brandishing your electrostatic ammunition to try to distract the ghost, that would be a narrative way to enable you to use the game mechanic of aiding. Up to you, though.
I got some plasma rounds in these 6 shooters, partner. You best get the hell out of there.
Okay.
Distract them, I don't know.
Okay.
Did I get the theme right? We're cowboys, right?
Well, you are kind of. You definitely are.
Well, you're just yeah.
We'll call
You're
that
the
an
yang.
aid. So this guy doesn't know he's a ghost, but at some instinctual level, the brandishing of this deadly stuff at a base ghost level does intimidate him a little bit.
Someone is yelling, there's guns. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to get 3d6 without stress. Is that what I'm hearing?
Without pushing, yeah.
That sounds good. We'll try it. Here we go. 4.
4. Oh boy.
Could be worse.
It could be worse. Oh, but it could be better. Okay. So you see, and you're able to see, since you're attuning here, the spirit start to pull out of it, out of the body. But as it does it, it whips the hand of the body around back toward Willie as he's trying to sneak around and get to the bomb. It's going to deal damage to your buddy and knock him away from the bomb that he's trying to dissolve. And you've partly pulled the ghost out, but not completely got it. Okay. Willie doesn't see it coming. You have the option of resisting this rip to save him and let him make it all the way there.
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be not a different one. This will be your insight. So however, oh no, wait, which one's attune under? Under resolve, I'm sorry.
Okay. Attune is the only skill I have any pips in there.
Okay. But remember, you always get one because you're a sun chaser.
Yeah.
And that's the bonus you took at the beginning.
So I get 2 dice?
2 dice, yes. So it's 6 minus your high roll stress.
6.
Jesus. Okay. Okay, so you feel like control of this guy is wiggling loose as you're trying to get the ghost out, and you see the hand slap out, and you shove the ghost hand back in and make it freeze in place just as it's getting ready to smack Willie across the temple. You feel like the breeze of this hand going past your head, Willie, as you go up to the machine. Gun, you use the intimidation to help give that third die. That was the 4, by the way. The one you gave him was the 4, so well done. Willie, you are now at the bomb, and it's a cylinder design, but yes, this time you see it's got the control device on it. Somebody would pull but this is weird. Somebody would just pull it here. It's not a remote. It's not a timer. Like, whoever does this, it's like a suicide mission here.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I mean, it's already a ghost.
I'm going to wreck this.
Okay. Check it before you wreck it.
I'm going to wreck it. I'm taking 2 stress and I'm wrecking it.
Okay. So you have 2 dots, as I dimly recall, in wreck.
Yes. So it's going to be 3 die. And now for your delight, I have 5 stress.
Okay.
Ooh.
I am using my fine wrecking tools. And
Excellent.
I'm going to just render this thing inoperable.
Okay. Oh, this seems like a good time for a devil's bargain, doesn't it?
Or a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Are we? Oh, yeah, how late are we? It's 9:45. Are we okay to finish? I feel like we're closing in on a conclusion here, but if people need to go,
I can go the distance.
Give me a devil's bargain.
I think we can be done at 10. Okay.
Give me a goddamn devil's bargain.
All right. The devil's bargain is your conscience is going to be haunted.
Oh yeah, fuck it. Yeah, okay.
In a way that's going to affect you. This guy, you realize this ghost is one of your people. Like, and your people got killed by the Bowmores, and like deep down, you know that in his position, you might be trying to do the same thing. Yes, your buddies are here, and you don't want them to be killed. But you're gonna be haunted by this if you foil his plans. But you'll get an extra dice as you reflect on it. And this is not something you can then roll or resist. It's gonna be on you, but you don't have to take it.
Oh, fuck him. I'm not gonna take it. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the 3.
Ooh, I hope that wasn't a big mistake. This is a big bomb waiting to go off.
Fine. Fuck it. I'll take your goddamn bargain.
You do what you want. I'm not.
I'll be haunted.
I'm not swaying you.
I will be haunted. No, I'm gonna be haunted.
I'm more taunting you.
I'm just gonna be haunted.
Okay.
This is taunting.
I'm just gonna be haunted by this ghost. And its precious love. Okay, here we go. 6! Thank fuck.
Hey.
It's a 6, a 1, and a 2.
Whoa.
So that extra die maybe was the 1.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, 6 is a full success. A critical, you would have gotten to take intact a lot of here. But a 6 is pretty good. You have shut down the bomb. Now somebody can't just grab it and turn it off. You've got the bomb disassembled and broken. So this bomb is inert now. And this is the one that was going to set off all the other ones.
Okay.
So unless somebody went to the trouble of building a new master bomb, and they have to be pre-synced with the other ones. So there's not going to be something that randomly sets off the other ones at this point. From your experience with mind bombs.
Okay. Then I build a new master bomb.
Nice. Quickly. Okay, roll for it. Tinker. Okay, so the bomb is disassembled. The ghost now, its head and torso are out of the actor courtesan guy's body, and you see, you're not looking at him, but Gun and Rip, you see now it's taken form now as this grizzled looking, like even more grizzled than Willie looking minor demolition expert, and he's howling with rage that his plan has been foiled. And it's like, I'll kill you all. And the courtesan body just drops like a stone to the ground. And the ghost flies right at Rip. Helena, you are kind of poised off to the side here. What are you going to do?
I've filled that thing with as much electroplasmic energy as my guns will allow. Like, seriously, full auto. I'm going to roll my hunt. I'm going to take some stress out of it, too.
Okay.
I love you guys.
Like, no, you don't get to have him.
I'm going to say this is just a standard risky action. So middle level position. I've got to focus more on how that works. But
Okay.
So you've got your 2 dots of hunt, and you said you're spending a stress, giving you 3.
Okay. So I'm pulling out each of my results as I roll them. I got a 5, a 3, and a 3. So go take that 5, please.
Okay, 5, but it's electrostatic ammunition on this really old ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you hit it full on. Let's see. A 6. I think you would have just flat out killed it. A 5. I think you hit it and you do kill it, and it blows out a burst of electroplasmic energy into the room. Happily, not enough to detonate the generator, but all of you feel like a burn from your skin to your soul as this ghost explodes in a gout of mystical energy. Well, I mean, that's a 5. I'm going to say one of you is going to take harm from this. I'm going to randomly determine it. Oh, you want to just take it for your buddies?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you are going to take a level 1 ghost blasted.
Okay. Can I resist it, or is that?
Oh, it's always an option to resist. Yeah.
Okay.
But you remember you're risking. You automatically succeed, but you take 6 stress minus your roll. So if you roll a 1, you're taking 5 stress. That's the risk.
Okay.
As it happens, people keep rolling 6s, but you can't count on that to run forever.
And I can max out my stress before anything really starts to happen, right?
Right. Once you max out your stress, then you take a trauma.
Okay. Cool.
Or traumas and your character's out of the game.
Right now, I have 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 stress. So yeah, I have nothing to lose here, provided that nothing else bad happens.
Right. So this will be. This is ghostly. This is going to be your resolve again. So the one with the 2 in command consort. Do you have any dots?
No, I don't. I have 0 dots in resolve. I love this.
So you would be rolling. Oh wait, but you've got your automatic sun chaser 1. So you get to roll 1 die instead of the 2 and take the low.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to use my sun chaser die to. I mean, okay, I rolled it already, so it's a 4.
Oh, so that's not bad. You take 2 stress.
That's really not bad at all. All right.
Okay. But you guys are all kind of shaking off like a little bit of you feel like a glow on you of like ghost goo slowly fizzling away. All right, back to Silver. You got the situation back under control by resisting his suspicion. He's still awake. He's expecting some canoodling of some sort, and you've got drinks, and he's drinking the drinks.
All right, so I have swayed him successfully. I also have trance powder. I'm going to try to slip some of that trance powder.
It's in suppository form, though. No, it's a powder.
You're really funny. I'm not sleeping with the guy.
No, very good. So you're putting it in his drink. So you're going to need to sneak it in. And you had mentioned finesse maybe as an option.
Yep, I got two finesse things. So,
Okay.
So do that.
Yeah. You have the option of spending 2 stress to push.
Oh no, I'm getting stressy, so no.
Okay. Do I have a devil's bargain for you? I don't know how that would work in this instance. So I don't think I do.
No, I think you probably what you were probably going to say was, yeah, it works, but you do actually have to sleep with him.
No, well, no, I wasn't going to do that.
Thank you. Although that would have been just typical.
Well,
Okay.
wait a minute. Okay, no, I'll give you a devil's bargain that you can have an extra die, but just the circumstances, other people saw you go in here and he's going to be acting weird, and you can take an extra 2 heat for your gang as an outcome of this. But I'll give you this extra die for your finesse roll. Again, you can always refuse the devil's bargain. Heat.
I'm going to refuse I will
Okay.
refuse the devil's bargain.
All right. So you've got your straight up 2 finesse dice. Will it work? You can trance.
Yes!
Ooh, there's your 6. You can
There it
trance
is.
if you want to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you catch him like he like turns and yawns and sort of gestures grandly toward the bed. You're like, okay. And he's like, and you quickly slip it in while his attention is distracted, and he turns back and takes a big gulp out of the goblet that you just trance powdered. And within really a minute, you see it's taken effect. You've seen how this works before. So what are you suggesting to him?
Suggesting that he is going to let my friend and I leave graciously, but he will not forget me, and still, it'll be like a Cinderella thing,
Okay, awesome.
He will win when I see her again, that kind of thing.
Okay, and it doesn't knock him unconscious.
Right.
So
And it also kind of lessens his.
I mean, you could sleeping powder him after, or sleeping thing him after.
I think we're good here.
Okay.
I'll just sort of, he's decided that he does need to get back to his guests, but he escorts us out.
Okay, and yes, he says, "Well, another time, my dear."
Of course, please. Let us meet again.
Okay. And as you go away, you hear Lady Bowmore, his sister, kind of like ribbing him about, his party hookup, and says, "Well, now it's my turn." And she starts casting about for her prey.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Seymour.
Seymour, you guys go on without me.
So
No.
Would you say I've made a contact there, a connection?
I think so. Yeah, I think you can jot him down. And is there space to write contact? Just put it in your notes, I guess.
Silver.
And he is Lord Bowmore.
Lord Commander Bowmore.
Commander Bowmore. He's the head of the Bluecoats.
Police in this district in Brightstone. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you guys are all ready to exfiltrate this scene. Backstairs team, what are you doing to get out of here? You've got a comatose, or at least sleeping heavily model, bleeding from his hands and lots of cuts all over on the floor here. The ghost is blown up. What are you guys doing?
So we need to cause a distraction in order to give Seymour and Silver a chance to grab the book, right?
That was your plan, as far as you know. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
We kind of forgot to arrange a signal.
Because
Oh, I figured we just had it timed out or something. I figured we could flash back that when it came to
Rip, what
time
you
to
got?
do that.
Yeah, that could be a zero stress backup zero stress flashback. I'm sorry, that you had
At X
arranged
hour.
a time. Yeah.
There's still the one bomb that blows open a hole in an exterior wall.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're also right by the generator. We could just shut the generator down, just plunge this whole place into the dark.
We
I
did
mean,
talk about it that way, didn't we?
We've got a lamp.
Yeah, might as well.
All right,
right?
that sounds good.
And then, oh man, I hate this guy anyway. We can just leave him here, and he'll just take the heat.
Yeah.
Or no. We gotta take him with us.
Why?
The model?
Because I want to know. Yeah, because I want to know what his backstory is.
Well, he's possessed by a ghost, so isn't he just some?
But why is
guy.
he possessed by a ghost?
I would be curious to know that as well. Maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't know.
Fine. You guys
Well,
have
there's
to
only
be
one way
one to carry him,
to
though.
go. That's to drag his ass with, or we can leave him here. One or the other.
I vote leave him here. I don't know why you want to talk to him.
I'm curious. but
he's a famous person, right?
Yeah.
So we can track him down next week.
Yeah, he's a well-known actor slash
Like
courtesan.
he's a public figure. We can.
Okay, but I say
I'm sorry, I'm not there.
No, it's fine.
Right.
Oh,
let's
right.
cut
Yeah,
the
hey.
pairing. Let's cut the pair and get out of here.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I don't think it takes much of a tinker even to do that. Like if you take some time to study it.
Just pull the switch to shut it down.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to figure out how this thing works and shut her down. Okay. And you are going back through the servants' entrance?
Exact same way we came. I assume that the place is going to be thrown into chaos and confusion by the sudden darkness.
All right. And upstairs team, you, Commander Bowmore goes back to mingling. You get back together when all of a sudden all the electroplasmic lights go out abruptly, casting the room into pretty much full darkness. Some of the cops quickly pull out some lanterns. They were prepared. And some servants start to go around and put up candles, which they kept around as a backup. But it's dark and gloomy and shadowy in here. What are you two doing?
We quickly, but not too obtrusively, make our way to the front door. I mean, it's not a sprint, but we're working our way in that direction, trying not to be too obvious. Probably arms linked again.
And a lot of people have the same idea. Like some are just like, hunkering down in place until lights come on, but others are like, well, I'm getting out of here. So you just kind of are able to join a stream of people making their way out the door. And the guards have no reason to stop people on their way out. So you make your way out into the street.
And I would assume we had established a rendezvous point on the corner somewhere.
Yeah, the ferry.
Yeah, you guys have not aroused suspicion, so we can kind of just fast forward here. You don't have any tail to evade here or anything like that. There wasn't any super particular suspicion. I mean, Silver's cousin isn't a fan, but he's not the sort who's going to come out and tail you in the street.
No, and besides, the commander will beat his ass if he tries.
Yeah. So we're one. Who is going to go and do the drop-off rendezvous?
That'd be me.
Okay. So fast forwarding, Gun, you go to the appointed spot and you see a person in the black hat and the flower doing what you immediately recognize as a non-criminal's best impersonation of somebody trying to look nonchalant. And thus, of course, like standing like a sore thumb. You're like kind of surprised that cops haven't just come up and rousted him for being so blatantly suspicious looking.
Hell no.
You're just like, hey, over here.
Yeah.
As she's walking past, she's like grabbed him by the back of the coat to like pull him out of the fucking street lamps.
And he's like, oh, dear me, what, who, what?
Shut your fucking mouth and take that fucking hat and that fucking flower out of your goddamn shirt, you dang idiot. Here's
what?
the damn book. Get out of here.
Yes. This is the book. Yes. Well, isn't there some sort of a
Don't
password
talk to
or
me.
countersign
Fuck off.
or? Yes, of course. Right. Less said the better. Bob's
That's
your
the
uncle,
countersign.
right? And he walks around looking incredibly suspiciously around him.
But just pretend you're returning groceries or something. I don't care. You were okay.
Yes, of course.
Not my
Groceries,
problem
of course.
anymore. I did my job.
Okay. And he strides off suspiciously into the gloom in the deserted market area.
Helena wonders how much extra she could argue from the rest of the group for having to deal with that guy. I feel like that was the hard part of the plan.
And just one little postscript, Rip. You had felt two supernatural entities. The ghost is one. And you feel like the other one, the awareness was always there. And you feel, as Gunn walks away, you feel a second supernatural entity walking away from you.
Oh. Can I try and talk to it?
Ooh.
That sounds like you might have a shot and an attune.
Yeah.
Which always carries certain risks.
5.
Okay. it now that you're away from the building, and you kind of like your spiritual eyes kind of had a flash from the ghost exploding, and the glare is just starting to fade away finally. You feel like there was some kind of entity somehow woven into that book, written into the book somehow. It was more than just a ledger. You would still have time to go track Gunn down, actually, before he does that handoff if you wanted to look at it, or you could let
Yes.
it go.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
you do want to? Okay. Sorry. Let's we'll back a bit here. Rip, yeah, you don't. So if you take a, are you Gunn? Are you going to stop and let Rip take a look before you do that
Oh, hell
handoff
yeah.
scene? Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, Rip? Opening the book and giving it a read through?
Absolutely.
Okay. So yes, there's notes and drawings and figures and addition and money figures and things like that. But on every page, there are extra lines and squiggles running through it that don't seem to make any sense at all. With your 5 roll, you don't know exactly what it is, but you think some sort of mystical entity has been imprinted in this book. So that might be whatever the interested party is interested in here. You don't know, of course.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
We need to find out who this interested party is.
But if you want to collect the money, of course, you've got to hand off the book in a timely fashion.
No, I'll let the book get handed off.
Okay.
Yeah, Helena kind of like holds her hand open, like, "Yep, I'm on."
All right.
But now I want to find out. I want to find out who it is that has this book and what they're going to do with it.
All right. Well, that might give us something interesting to pursue next week in your downtime. We will leave it there. You have successfully gotten the book, actually with somewhat less trouble than I expected. Sorry about the noise from the street there. And you will be able to collect your money in our next session, which will be some downtime and free play.
Excellent.
Huzzah!
Sweet, guys. That
All
went
right.
swimmingly.